We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It is episode 70. And of course, with me to my left is Mr. John Tracy. John, how you doing tonight, bud?
How are you, sir?
I am good.
I
To
want
my
to say
right is Mr. Steve Murray. He is, I don't know where he is right now. I think we're...
Thank you. See you later. Oh, we started already.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry. Just got dropped off. Rambo the orangutan just dropped me off with the golf cart.
Nice.
She
What
was,
a
she
beautiful
was driving me around. She was driving me around the property, showing me some things. She's
What a
she's
beautiful
very good
thing. Beautiful thing.
That was
Yeah,
the
then-
greatest video I think I've seen in quite some time. That was awesome.
What really got me was like she's driving around with one hand on the wheel and she's got her other hand on top of the roof.
Yep.
Only thing that was missing was a cigar and like a beer or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember if it was that video or a different one. Like at one point she drives, I think it was a different one. She drives under a tree
Yeah.
and grabs a leaf off the tree and then puts it in her mouth. It's
Nice.
like a guy, like an old guy on a farm driving a tractor, and it's just kind of dangling there.
That's
It was
awesome.
hysterical.
That's awesome.
And watching it over and over again, I kept getting popped about the turns because it was like such confidence with the one
Oh
hand.
yeah.
Such confidence.
Well, my son was watching. And he's like, "Oh, she just keeps going around in circles." I was like, "No. She's
No,
making
no.
left and right hand
Yeah,
turns."
she's legitimately driving.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she
Oh,
could easily pass a driver's ed class. I mean, it would be that simple, really. I mean, that's simple. Yeah,
She's a
Probably
better
drives
driver
better
than some
than
people
most
I
of us.
know.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm Matt Craig. I'm glad to be along for the ride, guys. And as I mentioned, it's episode 70. So I did a little research, actually, to see who wore 70 in the city of Philadelphia. And much to my chagrin, only one player right now is wearing 70. It's Rasmus Ristolainen. Hopefully Thank you. I was just going to say, I hope I didn't butcher that, but I think I did. But in any event,
Just don't ask Apple because you'll butcher it even more.
oh yeah, Siri will be like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, that's like the only other person I could find was like a James Skaggs who wore it like in the late 1950s and 60s for the Eagles. He was an offensive guard, but that's been it. Like they haven't issued that number since then. It's like an odd number, isn't it? I
That's
mean, it's,
weird.
yeah.
It's an unusual number.
I'm sure some left tackle in some league somewhere is proudly wearing 70, but we just don't have that kind of time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's such a, yeah, you're right, Steve. It is kind of just like a strange number, and it's like, okay.
It reminds me of like the Rams right tackle probably wears it or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like one of those numbers. Like
Yeah.
only 3 teams, only 3 people on the planet wear it.
Like in the history. I would love to know if there was like a Hall of Famer that wore 70.
I'm
but
pretty sure.
Yeah.
There has to be.
I have to
one.
do a little digging on that, but we don't have time for that. This is kind of
They're not
like,
that important.
yeah, exactly. This is going to be an interesting episode, I think, because this is I'm going to kind of deem this the winging it episode. We don't really have much in the way of show notes, but this is kind of just getting to know more about us as hosts, that kind of deal. So we kind of pick topics that kind of interest us along the way. We'll get into some, right off the top here. We'll go right into topic number 1, guys. Talking about this Canada protest with the truckers. It is catching the world by storm. It is an unbelievably peaceable protest, I think the likes of which we haven't seen in quite some time. Truckers
That
going all the way.
That depends on which publication you read.
Exactly, yeah, depending on the who's
My
who's
favorite
writing
one
what.
was the video of them playing street hockey.
Yeah, Yeah.
That was you can't be any more Canada than that. Like,
of course, yeah. I was going to say
barbecue's
like, where's
going
the
in the
Molson?
background, and they're shooting on that.
But let's talk about this, John. I mean, you're big into the protests. No, I'm kidding.
No,
But
I love
what are your
peaceful
thoughts on that?
protests. I'm totally all about if there's something wrong, there should be a sit-in. There should be change. Like humans should not be afraid to invoke change. if it's for the betterment of society. I'm not saying like protest everything, or definitely I do not think violent protests are the way to go.
Exactly.
That's a really dumb way to get things done. But if you're gonna, they do not like Trudeau. They don't like what Trudeau is saying or doing, and they're making a statement. Whether it gets anywhere or not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I like the effort.
Oh yeah.
Like farmers are involved. Canada's really coming together, and I'm proud to see that. I wish we would have did that.
Kind of a while back, yeah.
Yeah, peacefully instead of the dumb shit that the United States did.
Yeah.
I feel like Canada's setting a nice example of how you get your voice heard.
Yeah. No, yeah, I completely agree. I think the one thing that is really disappointing me, and I've kind of gone back and forth on it, on how to really approach this delicate subject, I guess you could say, with Trudeau, is just the lack of his chest and manliness in really like being willing to at least like get a table out and just say, okay, bring your associators or whatever to the table. Let's talk about this. Instead, he goes into an undisclosed location, and he's now getting like absolutely vilified and chastised, or whatever the case may be, for his complete lack of integrity, lack of leadership. He's blinking so many different times in these videos. Good.
Yeah, he had COVID. He had to work remotely. He had COVID.
Yeah, exactly. He got COVID when they were driving in Ottawa. The funny thing we were talking about in pre-production is you guys were saying that 90% of the truckers are already vaccinated. They just don't want to be told to do it.
Yeah.
And he won't, because isn't that an easy meeting for him?
You would think.
If everybody's vaccinated and you're doing a forced vaccination, right? He doesn't even want to look at the truth. That's his problem. He doesn't even want to look at, they just don't want him telling them what to do.
Yeah. Well, and also, let's face it too, he has also arrested people that have had that look at the stats and say, this is not as lethal as we thought it was, therefore I'm going to open up my business, service, church service, whatever the case may be. He has thrown people in jail for this, and rightly been chastised against that as well. And so it's kind of like, I don't know where we go from here. That would probably be my main question with this. It's like, I think it's great that they've done it, but ultimately there has to be an end goal here, and I just wonder where that is at this point.
That is a big, because we don't know Canadian, unless Steve, you know Canadian law or how it works. I do not. That's why
I am licensed to practice in the states of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and in front of the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Awesome.
So you're just eliminating Canada. Got it. Okay.
I just want to make that. I didn't know, because I didn't want to be like, well, we don't know, and then Steve's like, wait a minute, I do know. So what my point is we don't know how their government works fully. We know a couple things about the government, but we don't understand how it works. There needs to be an end to the means, and I like what they're doing, but they do need some kind of conclusion. They can't just sit there forever.
Yeah,
That's how this works.
Yeah. That, I know that was like one of the main issues, or one of the main concerns is, okay, well, you've basically, essentially, I guess you could say, stopped the supply chain. You've gone from Vancouver all the way over to Ottawa. All the trucks are parked in Ottawa. Yeah. And Trudeau's hiding. We don't know what he's going to do next. Is he going to use the military to get the people out, or which, again, I think all the truckers keep saying is, all we want to do is talk to the Prime Minister. That's all we're asking to do, and he's refusing to do it. So at some point, it's like, does the Conservative Party up there, do they get involved? Do the Liberal Party up there, do they get involved? Like, there has to come to some sort of resolution, I would hope, at the end goal of this, and I think that is GBD, basically.
But I also think they're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I just want to, like, they're doing it the right way. They're forcing conversation, not forcing violence.
Yeah.
And that's the one major thing, because we saw that in 2020 a lot in the United States. We just did it the wrong way. And it's really good to see them doing it the right way. And we don't know if they're going to get results. It's not our problem. First of all, like, it doesn't affect our daily lives. But you would hope, but I don't know how their government runs also, so I can't speak on that either.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating
Yeah, I'm going to
thing to
definitely
see.
keep an eye on it.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
something
Yeah.
interesting. It's something, maybe we can learn something from it.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is that I believe Saskatchewan was the first province
Mhm.
that has now dropped. They've gone full Boris Johnson. I believe they've dropped all of their
Nice.
mandates.
I love Saskatchewan.
And I'm thinking also,
I've
I've heard
always
something
loved
about
Saskatchewan.
Alberta too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not so. I
Okay.
think they're coming like early next week. I think that's what I heard, that
Cool.
their minister is also going to be
So-
dropping back. Yeah.
So maybe the province is just going to take control of this, and they don't need to talk about. Maybe they don't need to talk to the prime minister. Maybe they're just showing you
Yeah.
how insignificant the prime minister actually is.
Well, there might be some like we have in the U.S. kind of federal state versus state type of setup where states can have their own things going,
Yeah.
provinces can have their own things going in Canada, but the federal or whatever the Canadian the full Canadian government, maybe they have something over cross-provincial commerce or something that
Yeah.
allows them to enact certain things. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It seems very positive though, because we're not talking about the bloodshed in the streets in Canada.
Yeah. Thank
So
God.
at least there's some positive there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Go ahead. Steve, go ahead.
Trudeau has kind of, tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? Overplay it,
Yeah.
or oversell it by
Mhm.
going into hiding. I mean,
Mhm.
And calling out his opponents as racist, and it's like they're not racist. They want to have a conversation with you.
But he's always been that way.
Yeah.
He's always been a bit of a dramatic man. In all,
That's an
all
understatement.
of his, for what I know him, he's very drama based,
Mhm.
and he likes those press conferences that he's always been that way.
Yeah.
He's always
He has been.
he married an actress because he's an actor. You know what I mean? Like he's always come off that way.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
that's,
he's also kind of done other things as well, that have been very highly racist oriented as well,
I'd expect nothing less out of an elite.
which is rich. I mean, it's amazing, that he's now trying to invoke his opponents as being racist when he's been one.
there's a psychological thing that's called, I believe it's projection.
Mhm.
It's where you accuse people of doing things that you ordinarily
Yes.
do yourself.
Yeah.
And it may be that he's partaking in that. And it's also a tactic of politicians and people on extreme sides of the aisle to name call their opponents bad things when they really have no argument to come up with.
Yeah.
From the extreme left, it's, well, you're a racist. From Trump, it's, well, I won, so just give me my office.
Screw you. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. When he doesn't have an argument, it's screw you. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a card.
The extreme right, it's they fall on God and you don't know anything about this.
Right.
It's how you get out of arguments. And the extreme right and left, and he's
Yeah. It's almost like they're going right to the straw man argument.
He's always been an extremist. Like, let's not get that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he didn't just become an extremist.
No, yeah,
The
he's
dude been in power, has been an extremist the whole time.
Oh yeah. Well, you see it also
One
too.
of the worst.
Yeah, I was just
Canada's
going to say.
been one of the worst through this whole thing.
Mhm.
They've been practically China on this. It's
Yeah, they're pretty close. I mean, if they are not running second, they're running third to Australia.
I was just going to say, have you guys
Like,
seen?
Trudeau has been pretty up with what Australia's doing, how China's completely like, no, it didn't come from us. You know what I mean? Like,
Have you guys seen the articles that have come out of the Winter Olympics? Speaking of China, I mean, they are getting destroyed by the international community because of what they are trying to do with these athletes in the Olympic Village. They are basically cutting off, like, if they're testing positive for COVID, it's almost like you are locked down.
But do you expect anything less from a
No.
communist country to rig an Olympics? Come on. As soon as I heard it was in China, I was like, yeah, that's a bad look for the world.
Yeah.
Like, why would you? Because next stop, let's go to 1980 Russia, and we're gonna have the Olympics again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the Olympic for free and abled sports. They need to be in free societies.
Yeah. Yeah. And they cannot. I think the one thing that really strikes me, guys, has been the arrogance of some of these leaders to try and control a virus that they really have virtually no control over.
I mean, but it's corruption. It's corruption all day. We've talked about this all the time. It's never been about the virus. It's been the corruption behind the virus.
Yeah.
We've all said that on the show. Of course these. I mean, the Pope is even outreaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we all knew the Pope wasn't, on the up and up, but you know what I mean? Like, he even, like, tried to use Popeness to overreach a little bit. Like, power likes power.
Yeah.
I expect
Absolute
nothing
power
less
corrupts
from England
absolutely.
or Trudeau. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't. Like, you didn't, like, I'm not shocked that Biden tried to overreach.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked that Trudeau tried to overreach. I'm not shocked what Australia did. I'm not shocked by any of it. I'm just glad that people are now starting in Canada. Now we're getting to the bones of it because now we need to talk. Like, we need
Yeah.
to stop fighting and we need to start talking.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And it's important. It's important for this. This is how you get that. This is how you get what Steve wants, the centralist government that we're all going for. This is how we get it.
And Illinois Smith takes over in 2024. There you go.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I'm all
Can I
for
be
it
your
too.
campaign manager? I know a little bit
Absolutely,
about
you
stuff. Okay. I know how to get this
There
done.
you go. There you go.
Campaign
Oh,
manager.
Let's go ahead then and move on.
We need to rent out a place in a strip mall for my official office.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
That's like a little tax office.
Yeah.
It's like that little, very small corridor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do a Lionel Hutz attorney at law thing. You gotta get that right in the mall. Yeah, that's great. Love it. Absolutely love
You need two bouncers outside too.
it.
In case.
Just like standing outside.
Make it look real.
So let's go ahead and move on, gents. This was very interesting here too. Topic number 2, and John was waiting with bated breath over the Washington football team. What was going to be their team name? Right? It was
Because I thought they were going to do something fucking normal.
exactly, and it came out on February 2nd, and the name was Commanders.
Excuse me while I go to the bathroom and throw up.
And
Let me just start. Let me start this from going
go
back
for
to
it.
the.
Yeah, go for it. Take it, Johnny.
I could have, and you can call me whatever you want to call me. I could have cared less if they changed their name. I was fine with the Washington Redskins. Okay, it's offensive, right?
Mhm.
The Indians are like, I get that it's offensive, but it's not offensive because it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
It's a parody of offensive, is what it is. Like, if we did this in 1933 when it came out, and they were like, "That's offensive. You can't use that." They got rid of all that. They got rid of all that because they sold out.
Yeah.
So this isn't offensive now. It's just offensive to cancel culture. So I could care less if they changed their name. I immediately, when they were talking about it in 14, I wanted the Warriors. So I'm disappointed since 14 because they should have just changed it then. They could have stopped cancel culture. We could have just made a cool name. Could have kept the colors. Just get the dude off the helmet. Put the arrow up there.
Yeah.
We're money. We're good.
Yeah.
So I've been out of the game for a while with this, and then you come with the Commanders. I'm like, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, you suck at every level of your organization.
Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Snyder sucks, and it shows.
Oh,
I wanted to go with the Sentinels. Slap Keanu Reeves on the helmet. You're good to go, man.
It's a far better logo.
Awesome.
Can we have him like John Wick with the pew pew in his hand? Like, that's what I want.
That's awesome.
Well, no, you'd have to go with the replacements and what was that? Shane Falco.
Yeah.
I just think John Wick with the beard, though, it would look better.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I remember when it came out, my initial reaction. I'd love to get your initial reactions, gents, but mine was, well, that was safe.
Very underrated.
It was very safe. It wasn't like it was carefully orchestrated. It was like, well, we can't go down this road, but we also can't go down that road. Steve has more on that later, by the way, because I think you're gonna. I cannot wait for you to go into that with the legal ramifications.
Yeah,
but it was safe, was it not? It was just so incredibly daintily, like, oh my god, okay, Commanders. Ah!
It was blah.
Anticlimactic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
Great.
You're like, okay, let's see what this is.
Commanders.
Best I could do.
I was kind of excited because you don't rebrand a major sports team very often.
No.
So I was excited, and I was thinking, let me just my fandom in here, right? I'm thinking New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, right? Okay.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah.
That's got clout. Dallas Cowboys. That's got clout. Like that makes me feel like it's an NFC. And then you roll in the Commanders, and I'm like,
what USFL team came in here?
Like you just don't fit.
XFL even.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. I think it was John. Was like, that sounds like something you put on your Madden, expansion team.
That's totally me rebranding Washington. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't like the Redskins, and I'm playing Madden. And I'm like, oh well, I've got a choice of 6 logos because that's all Madden gives you, right? So you're like, well, I'll keep the colors, and okay, I've got a horse, I've got a frog, I've got something that kind of looks like a military thing. Commanders, like, and that's you're the Washington Commanders, like on your Madden because you have no choices.
Exactly.
I feel that they're an NFL friggin' team. They have choices.
Yeah,
and had 2 years. This is what struck me. Like, the Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Guardians.
Like that.
In 7 minutes.
It was immediate. This team, and maybe it's just because they're the most horribly run franchise in all of the 4 major sports.
Yeah.
And I'm talking off the field as well as on the field.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're like, okay, we need to change our name. Ooh, we need time to do this. Okay, we're going to be calling ourselves the Washington Football Team for now.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to play the entire NFL season like that. Okay, we're going to play the entire 2021 season like that too. We're going to go 2 seasons as the football team.
You kind of like look at your what's going on.
You had 2 years to figure this out,
and you picked a name worse than football team.
Yeah, that's saying something. That's unbelievable. I think who
was involved in this?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
It was really funny to me. School kids and Ron Rivera. I swear to God.
Yeah.
He was just holding up pictures.
Yeah. What was really funny to me was I was looking. I think it was like either on Instagram or maybe even YouTube. Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, and Kyle Brandt, who's like one of the he loves anything NFL, big Chicago Bears fan, but he hears the word Kay, one of his co-hosts like asks him, so what do you think? And Kyle's like, yeah, it's good. It's good. I could definitely like sign myself up to this. This is a really good team name and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. Stop being a mouthpiece for the NFL. It's not a good team name. It's terrible. It's awful. It's safe. It has nothing whatsoever to do with anything to do with Washington. It's bad. You can say that on your network.
It's literally like changing the Detroit Lions with 2 years of it, and you just call them the kitty cats or the big cats or you just like give that like they're the Lions. You know what a lion is. Like you're changing it to something that is vague.
Yeah.
Like what? Like is it going to be Cobra Commander? Or is that what we're going to do? We're just going to change him red, and he's not blue anymore.
Yeah.
What exactly is? I would like Washington to explain to me what a commander actually is.
Absolutely.
In the football realm. I'm not talking about like I understand there's some military, there's some kind of White House. Like you can throw that name around, but it's not the official name for anything.
They're going to put the current president's head on the helmet, so every time the president changes, they're going to change the head.
For a second, I thought they would keep the actual Redskin head, but just turn into Washington, like kind of a side portrait of Washington with the tri-corner hat on there and the ponytail.
I like the meme of Washington with a fake mustache. That cracked me up. That was going to be the mascot. That made me laugh.
But there were legal ramifications, right, to this, Steve.
There were some.
There were some. I mean, there were a lot of squatters we found out in pre-production. Why don't you go ahead and just talk about that real briefly about that? Because that was, we're looking through this article in ESPN and they're like, Red Wolves can't use that. Armada can't use that. Can't use this. Can't use this because of these people that were going after.
Well, I don't know that it was. I don't think it was for every single one.
Right.
They had a list. They had a short list that they had narrowed it down to, and most of those were better than Commanders.
Yeah.
I thought there was one that was like really bad, which I don't.
There were a couple of really bad, but this goes back to 2014 when. This is the one question I have for you. We talked about this, but I can't remember. It's when didn't they strip them of the name? The federal government did.
They didn't strip them of the name. What they did was they stripped the federal registration for the trademark.
Yeah.
Redskins.
Can you explain that just a little bit deeper?
So when you have a trademark that's used in interstate commerce and you want to protect it, one of the main things you do is you get the federal registration through the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for the trademark. And that gets you certain rights. You have to use the name in commerce. You have to renew it every 10 years. But
so all NFL teams are following, all sports teams, all businesses are following this.
Right. Because as you may find out on a certain episode of Dr. IP recently released.
Nice. Good plug. Let's throw that up there in the corner.
Go through the card. Done.
You don't want people using your trademark for whatever reasons, for causing confusion, detracting from your mark, whatever. So in 2014, the Patent and Trademark Office, I believe, or maybe it was the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, which is the sort of the judicial part of the office, stripped the Redskins of the registration for that trademark. They said this is offensive. You cannot trademark it.
Yeah.
Well, they can use it, but they can't get the trademark protection. So if somebody, there was a whole South Park episode about this. Cartman names his company the Washington Redskins because the real Redskins can't protect it. The trademark.
There was also a lot of right-wing grabbing of the font and the design.
Right.
People made a lot of money off of that because they didn't have to worry about the Redskins doing anything.
Amazing.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Now it turned out, and I forget how long it was afterward, the court system said no. That's you cannot make as the federal government cannot decide whether or not to issue a federal trademark registration based on whether something is considered offensive. And it goes back to sort of what we talked last week about how do you know what's offensive and to whom.
Exactly.
And
it shows you the judicial system is stopping an overreach of government because you can't do that.
Right.
They can try, but you can't do it. It falls into everything we talk about coronavirus and we talk about government and all that. It's another prime example of that.
All right. So they got their trademark registration back, but as we all know, just to tell the story for those who aren't clued in 2020. Back in the summer when everything was George Floyd and all that kind of stuff going on, FedEx, who was one of the huge sponsors of the now Washington Commanders, decided they were going to pull their sponsorship money because the Redskins name was offensive. And
which
so
they're also not their stadium. It's their TV, it's their like halftime show. It's a bunch of other things. Like FedEx is ingrained in
heavily invested.
Heavily ingrained. So we're not just talking like 30 million just for the stadium. Like FedEx had enough clout because there's that ingrained into the pre and post game shows and that kind of thing.
I was just going to say that sounds like they're a managing partner.
Yeah, pretty much. They're as close as you can get as a corporate, like Novacare and the Eagles. Yeah, they're very close net, but they're not as ingrained as FedEx was into. So that just for people to kind of understand that how deep they go.
Yeah.
All right. So we set the stage now. So teams register their trademarks to protect them. But some people have some foresight. and there was a gentleman whose last name I believe was
Well, that you
McCall.
said Foresight now, but you didn't say Foresight during
Nice.
pre-production.
Just to set this stage up here, we're talking pre-production about Matt's running through the names, and one of the names he gets to was Red Wolves.
Yes.
And John and I were both like, "Oh, that would have been awesome!
That was a great name.
I would have been so jealous of that name. That would have been an awesome name."
Great name.
That fits with the category of the division. Like, oh, but we got to play the Washington Red Wolves this week.
Yeah.
Makes
Great.
you feel like an NFL team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a great name.
Great name.
You could have made a great mascot out of that.
Absolutely.
You could have gotten tons of mileage out of Red Wolves.
Yep.
It turns out Arkansas State University is also the Red Wolves, but I don't know that that's necessarily a bar. They had Arkansas State has registered the trademark Red Wolves, but college and pro teams share names a lot, so
All
that's
the
not,
time. Yeah.
that's not particularly troublesome.
Eagles is all over the college, but the Philadelphia Eagles exist. There's a bunch of
Cowboys,
of them.
same deal. Yep.
Sure.
Broncos, I think there's a ton of there's
Boise
a ton of
State.
Broncos in college. Yeah. And
Yep.
then,
Boise State Broncos. Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
So there are definitely many.
Oh yeah.
Now, all right, so we got to Arkansas State, blah blah blah. That shouldn't have been that big a deal, right? I logged on to the trademark website because I know how to use it, and I'm just curious who because the ESPN article I think suggested there was a trademark issue.
Yes.
Particularly,
there was a couple articles that cited the trademark issue is why they didn't go that way.
but they didn't explain it too much.
Yes.
And there was a lot of support, not just from us, but like Fred Smoot, I think, was one who was like, "Oh yeah, Red Wolves would have been great."
Yeah.
Alumni who were consulted. A lot of them.
Yeah,
thought
Charles
Wolves
Mann.
were
There were a bunch of alumni that were kind of upset
Absolutely.
that it wasn't Red Wolves.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the hell has Red Wolves trademarked that would cause the issue? So I find it, and on the list is Washington Red Wolves, and there were a couple other words in there that I don't recall. And I look, well, that's an interesting name. Who owns that? Log in. It's Washington Red Wolves LLC. Like,
So he literally has basically has a company.
yeah.
Washington Red Wolves.
The guy's name, his last name, I believe, was Macaulay.
That's funny.
He, in 2020, filed several applications for trademark registrations, among them being Washington Red Wolves.
Oh.
Okay. And I guess he's using it in conjunction with a website that reports football news.
The only way that you could
Trademarks are very field specific. The example I gave you guys was you have Apple computers and Apple Vacation.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. They can both use the term Apple because the one that makes iPods is probably not going to be selling you vacations in
Trips to Tahiti. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And vice versa. You're not getting iPhones out of Apple Vacations. So this guy was very clever. Set up a business that involved football to some degree and used the Red Wolves. And he also had.
If he just inflated footballs for a living.
That would have worked.
More research on this dude because it seems like he did the bare minimum to screw an NFL
It would have worked.
And I really hate him for it.
You said you liked the Warriors name.
Yes.
I believe it was 2014 he filed an application on Warriors. And he also had one on like pigskins, and he was every time, the Hogs, every time the Washington football team's name was making big headlines and you had the slightest inclination that there might be a change. This guy was running out and grabbing like obvious names that the football team could go to and probably squatting on them. So they're probably like, hey, we want this name. And he's like, okay, give me $1 billion. You know what I mean? Like,
which in this practice, I do not agree with this practice, but when it happens to Daniel Snyder,
you love it. You love it. Yeah.
I don't even want to see this happen to Jerry Jones. Daniel Snyder, I just don't like. So I'm totally I'm totally
It
okay.
really is. It is a remarkable thing because you think about it, like those fans down there, like the Washington fans that are down there, they
They're
are
some of the
very
best
good
fans.
fans
Yeah.
down there. They're some of the best fans in the National Football League. They have like, I can't even remember the last time they won a football game or won a playoff football game,
Yeah.
much less, I think the last time they made the playoffs, I think it was with RG3 back in the
No, they
day.
made it
We're
last.
just going through these
They did.
BS.
Okay, that's right.
They
Last
won the
year. That's
division
right.
last year. Remember?
That's
Could
right.
you imagine? Could you imagine how Philadelphia would
Oh,
react to that? Like if we had a defensive name and it took 2 years and we had a bad name, dude, they'd burn the link down. Like they wouldn't even have a
Yeah.
place to play. Like
Yeah.
I feel for the Washington fan base.
Oh, I do too.
If they like it, like if this is something that everybody's gonna come around, that's fine. Like I'm not gonna. I don't like it, but I mean,
John,
if that's what
this
I
is
don't
going to
think
take
they-
at
I
least
just don't think
10
it's gonna
years.
lie. I said
Yeah.
this to you guys in pre-production. I think this isn't the last name change of Washington. I think Snyder's gonna sell after because he's at his wit's end at this point.
Well, he has definitely stepped
Exactly.
down out of the day-to-day football operations. Yeah.
He's done it so bad. They're gonna run him out of town, and then you're gonna get, said Joe Schmo that's gonna buy the team. I think there's gonna be
Boot Commanders.
they're gonna get rid of Commanders quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All kidding aside, Sentinels would have been a good name. I wanted them to do something with the Hogs. I thought that would have been cool, and it would have.
If they
Good
did the
ode
Washington-
to back in the
if they
day,
did
and
the
yeah.
Washington Hogs or the Washington Warthogs, if you want to do WW, I'd be totally okay with
The
it.
Red
I'm totally
Hogs.
fine with that
The
too.
Red Hogs would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hogs would have been because it would have been a node to
The 80s.
it would have been a node to like if the Browns ever had to change and they went to the Dogs
Yep.
for the doghouse.
Yeah.
That's something you do, like because you're keeping your heritage. They did it like
Yeah.
for such a storied franchise. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Swing and a miss.
One of my friends on Facebook made a joke. Is like, so you went from the basically the settlers to the settlers. Like, why would you do like that? Just seems dumb. Like you stayed in the same kind of realm, but it was bad.
Yeah.
Like, why would you? Like, you could have owed to your franchise. Would have made more sense.
And the name they chose doesn't. We're joking about what to put on the helmet.
Oh.
I mean, the logo they chose.
Oh.
It's just a W.
It's a W, but it's like somebody put a W in a Word document and scrolled through all the fonts.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is the coolest font we can find.
Or they
we'll
cut
put
and
this
paste.
on the
Yeah.
helmet.
Oh.
Dude, by the way,
gosh,
that's a Photoshop job for our logo down below. I could do that faster than I did the logo down below.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just saying, like the number logo, like doing that, all you're doing is putting two W's on top of each other and changing the color.
Guys, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with
it's
this mini helmet collection that I've got. I have no idea. Like with this
You
with this
don't-
new helmet.
Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
I
And
mean,
my
seriously.
problem is it's WC. It's not WW. So why is there a W on top of a W? Using
Is there?
color wise, what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
one W, but what you can assume if it was the Washington Warthogs or the Warriors, that WW looks cool. Because the
At
name
least you would have, again, to your point, John, with the Warriors, you have the spear. Or a warhog, you would have like some sort of warhog animal going after somebody.
But even with the Commanders, like why can't you do like a cool WC like Green
You
Bay?
got to rebrand that. I mean,
Like Green Bay has, or like somebody else. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
can
good point.
incorporate if you're not going to put a fictitious character, which you don't have one because it's a vague comment. What is
Yeah,
it?
right.
So I understand you're putting the letters on there. I mean, it's just deep dive into my artistic fucking anger. It's just a W. It doesn't
Yeah.
even say commit. So why
No.
are you just Washington?
yeah.
Because you just
It-
haven't moved
so
away
bad.
from it.
This
So-
process, I'm just
Hurts
thinking
my
now. I
hand.
think the W is just part of the poor process that went through this,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
They didn't pick a name until real recently,
Yeah.
so they didn't have, even though they took
Time.
2 years, they didn't have time to think. Okay, Commanders, what could we do
With
as far as
that.
a logo to make that cool? It's like, all right, Commanders, come up with something. You got a day before we release it.
Oh,
Oh shit. W. Yeah, W. Let's make it stripy. Yeah, okay, that looks good.
This fits
Okay.
in, you're right. This fits into everything because why not just leave the numbers on the helmet for a year until you figure it out.
Until you figure it out.
Made us wait. You've made us wait. You gave us a shitty name, and then you just it all just now nobody likes.
And wasn't there when they were the football team the last 2 years? Wasn't there a W? I know they had the numbers on the helmets. Wasn't there a W?
It's a similar W, yes.
No, yeah, it was a similar W.
That W looked better than this new W.
Yes.
You gotta keep the old W. If all you're doing is keeping the W.
What's going on there? Oh my god.
The old W looked okay.
I didn't even equate that in my argument. Thank you for that one. They
God.
did have a W that was cooler.
At least they did keep the burgundy and gold, but I think to all of our points, though, it was a disaster. It really was.
But they fuck up on the other end because they make their other jerseys black.
Yeah. Black's not their color.
Like burgundy and gold.
Burgundy and gold, stick with it.
I missed that. They're introducing black jerseys.
Yes.
They have a third jersey, yeah.
Which then looks worse.
Yeah, we'll flash it up here on screen. I mean, it's an interesting collection.
After Steve's response, I feel totally justified in my anger over this for a week.
Yeah.
I did not realize they were going to black third jersey. That is
it's pretty bad.
Oh.
It's pretty bad. You got to stick with burgundy and gold. That is your team colors. You've had that since the inception of the franchise. Black doesn't fit.
I didn't even hate when they did the all gold thing for that one game.
Yeah.
With the
alternate wonder too that they are
the worst thing, but go in the black.
Yeah.
Just it's not your color.
It doesn't work.
It's not even your outline color. White's your outline color.
Yeah.
They look good. They look good with the burgundy jersey and the gold pants. They look good in the white jersey with the burgundy pants.
Yes.
Yep.
The all white looked good on them. They had great color combinations. Throwing black in there,
I hate trying to go back into the early '90s. They had a really good look. I mean, it was you usually wore the white with the burgundy pants, and that was really solid.
It's funny story about that. We're shitting on them the whole time. The Redskins are one of the only teams that have done it right from the beginning. Not the name, but I'm saying the color design. The
colors.
They've never really had. They're kind of like San Francisco. They've never really had jerseys. There's jerseys that you might be like, but you're not like, these guys don't know what they're doing. They at least had, and adding black it brings us into our next topic of concept jerseys because
let's launch right into that then. The third topics here, because we had piggybacking off of this some interesting look-sees here and there around the Instagram universe and other things, guys.
We played internet for this.
Yeah.
So we got things.
So we wanted to pick kind of our top three worst. I couldn't really come up with a list, but I'm just going to throw this out here. And for our audio listeners, you're not going to be able to see this. We're going to be trying to be at this as descriptive as we possibly can.
Oh, I got you on the descriptive for the worst one that we're going to throw up with.
There you go. Yeah.
Steve brought this Flyers thing. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go with my Flyers here first. And what you're looking at here is it's an orange background. You've got basically a white stripe kind of coming across the top of the shoulders with black. So already we're looking pretty good. Bottom, you got a thin white stripe with black on the bottom. And then on the sleeves, you've got kind of the white kind of coming down on an angle, kind of like a 45-degree angle, I guess you could say, curved angle, with black going down one half, and then, of course, the rest being orange. You have kind of like a string tie like you would with a hoodie. The only thing that I don't like with it, and I think we all agreed with this, was the fact that there were black numbers with a white outline. I probably would reverse that and go with either a white with black. That probably would be my guess. Like you would inverse those colors. You have a white number with a black outline on an orange. I think that would really work. And you can reverse
that's all about visibility.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Flyers have those Stadium Series jerseys from a couple years ago that were black jerseys. And they had black numbers on them with, I think it was orange outline.
Yeah.
And you cannot, like on the TV or in person, you can't see the number.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool if you're like wearing it. If you're wearing it out, you know what I mean, or you're playing street hockey with it. It's a cool jersey. But for the NHL franchise to put that on TV, it's not a good look.
Not a good look. Yeah. But this one I thought was really, really good. As I said to you guys in pre-production, it's like I saw it in the Wells Fargo Center. I wouldn't personalize it. I'd just buy it straight outright. I don't care. Here's my money.
I absolutely don't hate.
Take my money.
Let's get to this one that kind of sparked the whole thing. This Flyers.
Hold on. I just want to ask a question. This Flyers jersey, because I didn't hate it either. I thought it wasn't bad. Was this from the guy who was making all those other jerseys that, like, he was putting the number on the shoulder and
he was.
the arm?
Yeah, Pete Rogers.
At least he didn't do that with this one.
No, he did not. Yeah.
This one was one of his better.
No, he still put the number on the sleeves.
On the sleeves, which was good for hockey. Yeah, good for hockey. Yep.
Yeah.
This was one of his better ones.
Yeah,
that was great.
I agree.
It's not my ideal Flyers kind of look, but I could live with it, and it wasn't bad.
I wouldn't hate it.
All right, shut up. Take my money. Here you go. $75. I'll take it.
Matt's already. I'm like, I don't hate it, but it'll happen. So
go ahead, Johnny. What do you got?
Let's put this one up. Let's put this monstrosity of brilliant. So for audio listeners, they've replaced the Flyers logo with an F with some wings.
Oh.
And then the next jersey, it's an F with wings and it says fly. And then they made the F with wings even smaller and it says, which I don't understand how, it says Philadelphia Flyers. Somehow with the PH and then there's the Flyers. Yeah, it's terrible. And just so now, Steve, please attack this. It's blue, white, and dark blue.
All right, whoever this is, we came across this because it was sent to Tyrone at
Tyrone Johnson of 97.5.
97.5. Okay.
Yep.
He tweeted it out. Said, "Somebody just sent me this. What do people think?" And my immediate reaction was, "Whoever sent you this needs to be blocked right now."
Immediately. Yeah. And then I saw it and I was like, "What? Oh my god! Yeah. Like, why is that a thing?"
First of all, does this person realize that one of the team's nicknames, like legitimate nicknames, is the Orange and Black?
No.
And now you've totally taken that completely out of the jersey.
Okay.
There's no orange or black.
1967 Penguins colors.
I'm gonna say, benefit of the doubt, maybe devil's advocate, maybe he's colorblind. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Maybe.
Just throwing it out there.
This is so bad.
It's bad.
This throws out.
Yeah.
And given the way that the current office is being perceived as being out of touch with Flyer history, this is something I could.
They're at least closer than
They introduced this as like, as a humorous moment on Black Friday or April Fools, that kind of a deal.
Right. I could see this being that kind of a joke. This is so bad.
Yeah.
It literally has no connection whatsoever to the franchise.
Yeah.
For the 50-some years they've been.
No, you're absolutely right. It has more of a connection to the Philadelphia Freebirds than it does the Philadelphia Flyers. And if you're trying to do that, if you want to meld two, I mean, we're all ambitious when we're young. So if you're trying to meld those two together, good try.
Right?
That's all I got for that. But if you're a 45-year-old man and you did this, shame on you. Yeah, you're not a Flyers fan.
Yep.
This and the color, the bad blues aside here. You have. We can't see what the numbers look like on the back. We're only getting the front view.
There's no numbers. Yeah.
The logo on the front is dark blue.
Yes.
No, it doesn't look like there's any outline.
No.
On a slightly light, this isn't even this is darker than the Phillies powder blue.
I was just going to say, it might be even a sky blue, maybe.
No, this is too dark to be a sky blue.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It's a dark blue on a slightly lighter blue.
Yeah, so you can't really make out Flyers in there. Yeah.
This is not going to show up.
It's almost like the blue that that Pittsburgh State University has.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that awkward, weird blue with the gold they have.
I didn't know there was a Pittsburgh State University. So
it's in Pittsburgh, wherever Larry Fitzgerald went.
Oh, the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah. What
Yeah.
They
that
don't wear blue, do they?
they
Yeah,
have
they
a
do.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a weird blue. It's not
It's
so dark. It's not so dark and it's not so light. It's not this.
yeah.
But
It's no, but
it
close
reminds
to it.
me of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
close to it.
more I think about it, I don't think this is old Pittsburgh Penguin colors either. I think their
No,
blue was
no.
lighter.
I think I was just joshing on that. No, it's not as light as that,
Yeah.
like at all.
It's darker.
Yeah, because those colors were way nicer. The
Well, I'm gonna
Pittsburgh-
let's burn this out of the way. What other?
Frankly, I find this offensive.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. Pretty bad.
super
and by
offensive.
that, I mean
He's canceling
horrible.
this right now.
What else you got? What else you guys got?
So let's move on to this Philadelphia Eagles that we'll throw up on the screen. This is a 3 jersey run. It's all green with white stripes.
Okay.
It's a white and gray stripes, and then you got the white with the green on the shoulders with the white lettering,
Yep.
green lettering front with the green pants, and then exactly what Steve was just describing for this bullshit jersey is
that's the same
gold
colors.
helmet. They don't even have numbers. They do have numbers, but there's a P on the front of it for a football jersey.
Yeah.
Then the numbers are on the chest, and they wear gold pants. My anger point to this is I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to do 1933 Steagles. Like, we all know the freaking story. We all know the Eagles story. We all know it. We know that World War whatever, you had to build the team together. They wore Pittsburgh colors. They didn't wear Eagles colors.
Had to combine them.
In 2021, this does not need to exist.
Didn't the Eagles do a throwback to this?
They did a Steagles throwback.
75th anniversary, they did it.
It was lighter colors.
It looked nothing like this.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It was lighter colors.
Right.
Horrible. Yeah.
But that's I think that's the feel they're trying to get. They just missed with this one. That's what I feel. I'm okay with it. If you want to do that green, you want to do that white that way, I'm fine. Like I don't but that piece of shit. Like that third one, that needs to go. Like it's not 1933. We need to get away from this color rush weirdness that these sports teams want to do. They just fuck it up every time they try.
Now, Johnny, I have a quick question for you in regards to that jersey, because I'm looking at it right now, and you got, let's just say on the white jersey, you got the green on the shoulder pads, right? But then you've got a white and a gray stripe kind of going up like this, kind of going up from the collar all the way up past to the shoulder blades. Thoughts on that? Do you like that? Do you not like that? I know Steve was kind of
Yeah, I don't have. If that's what you're giving me, I'm okay with it. I don't want it. I'd rather have a full sleeve, like the Eagles have their jerseys now. Whether it's going to be Kelly green or not,
whatever. Yeah,
I'm okay with it. I don't like the stripiness on the shoulder, but I think the reason I'm not so mad about it is the third one that they presented is so bad. I'm like, fuck, like you won on the first two.
That was the whole reason. They gave me the third one. I was like, all right, these aren't so great, but if we put something really shitty next to it, nobody will notice.
See, they won because we're fucking talking about it.
Well, I don't mind I don't care about the stripes as much on the shoulders that Matt's talking about. Yeah. My issue was the way the green and the white intersect on the jersey. It looks like the Flyers jerseys from like 2007. But I call them the bra because you have it's not quite a V, but it's basically a V collar, right?
Yep.
That's the one side, and then the green coming down the side on the shoulders gives you a slope of the white on the outside, and so it looks like it comes to a point.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're wearing a bra.
Which is hilarious because if people that are listening to us, if you guys played hockey growing up, the shoulder pads, that's exactly what it creates underneath. You don't need someone designing a jersey that accentuates the fact that you have a bigger chest than you did if you're wearing it when you're not wearing the shoulder pad.
Exactly. Great point.
Look at my boobies.
Exactly. That's the last thing we're thinking when we step on.
I never liked
big in the chest.
I never liked that Flyer jersey design, and this is the exact similar vibe.
I made that point to you, I think, Steve, in a text. It's amazing they wore that on the road during their cup run in 2010. That was their away jersey for the longest time because I think they could not get a white jersey. And it was weird because it was like they had the home one, no problem, when you have the white stripe going all the way straight down. They didn't have it on the other side. They didn't have it on the white.
Agreed.
Hey, that would have been an orange stripe down. It's like, how difficult would that not, like, how difficult is that? It's almost like the Commanders. What the heck's going on there?
I preferred the old school where it was the shoulder and it was a straight line across.
I totally agree.
That's more
Great
of my favorite
classic look,
kind of
yeah.
jerseys where you lined where the shoulder meet the chest, and
Yeah.
it has more
Cross.
of a esque
As opposed to, yeah.
to it that you can add a different color to it.
Exactly.
So I got one more for you guys before we get into some nice ones that Steve's going to run us
Please,
through.
yeah, because my eyes are killing me, Johnny.
Yes. So we're putting up this Philadelphia Eagles one, which I like. I like the jersey concept.
Uh-huh.
I like the silver pants.
Uh-huh.
I like the white socks. I like the Kelly green.
Johnny, that helmet, though.
Dude, that helmet.
The helmet.
I don't even care about the color of the helmet.
That ain't working, man.
Why are there 17 wings? You made it.
You have a
with
green
the
face mask.
Yeah, I
Like,
hate everybody to go back to Steve's going to disagree with me, but we need to all go back to the yellow face mask. Everybody needs a yellow face mask. Let's go back to the 80s and just get rid of it. And I'll concede to you that white or yellow, stop with the color face mask. It drives me nuts.
Just not going to work.
The Denver Broncos wearing all orange this year with the blue helmet, and it had the orange face mask. It was like, what? You just overthought everything coming out.
I don't mind this green face mask.
Okay.
I don't mind that. What bothers me with
the wings.
The 7 wings.
Those wings are atrocious.
I wonder if it's supposed to be one. It's just supposed to be showing feathers, but it looks ugly.
It just doesn't.
And they're so low.
Yeah.
They come in like just above the eyebrow.
They're supposed to go
out to the side. They don't like come up to the sort of the meat of the helmet.
I would agree.
Supposed to meet almost to the back of with the wings for the Eagles is supposed to meet almost to the back, so it's got to come in that weird angle that we know and love.
Yeah, it's almost like it's interesting. Like some of these colleges and universities are experimenting with different types of helmets like this.
This is literally like.
It's a college-looking helmet. Yeah,
I don't know who the team would be that is the Eagles, but if the college team came out, I'd be like, that's cool.
You know, when I look at it on the guy, not like as the helmet kind of blown up on the side, but on the guy wearing the jersey.
Yep.
It almost makes him look like he's got just big bushy eyebrows.
It definitely
really does.
The fact that he has no face.
Like you remember the coach? Remember the coach of the Soviet Union in Miracle?
Oh yeah.
His eyebrows like came up and sort of like a point on the end.
They were extra big on his face.
Let me tell you, that takes a lot of moose to be able to do that. Yeah, Stevie.
That's what this looks like.
Yeah.
And on the jersey, the jersey doesn't bother me as much, except if you zoom in on the shoulders, there's
they got wings.
Small.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, they got wings. That's sacrilege. Yeah, that's wings. That's like angel wings.
They don't look like wings to me. They look more like just randomly crisscrossed lines that somebody was doing a matrix.
I think they were trying to do the wings on the shoulder. Now that I'm looking at it right now,
I'm zooming in. Yeah, they are definitely wings.
Yeah, they're wings.
No.
Let's get on to Steve. Let you throw this Capitals one up because I want to talk about this because this is more what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I thought this one looked good. It's got the screaming eagle logo from like the Peter Bondra days,
which I hate, but I like in this jersey, which is crazy.
You're kidding, really?
Yeah, they found the color scheme that made it look good.
Huh?
Yeah, I like it. I've always liked that logo, but on this jersey in particular, it's a blue main body. A fairly regular blue, almost like what John's got on right now. A bluish blue.
Yep.
With blue shoulders, and then the upper, like the bicep, is black with the number in white.
Yep.
and then there's a gold stripe under the bicep, and then to the cuff is blue.
And it's not assuming at all. And it has a tiny little gold stripe. No, that's okay. That's the glove. Never mind.
Yeah.
See that's how nice it looks because you put the little gold stripe on the glove.
I would play with that. I would definitely play in that. No question.
Yeah,
Right, and there's a gold. Yeah, there's a gold stripe at the bottom of the jersey too. I thought this really looked nice.
It is a really good.
When they had John's right when they had this logo before. I liked the logo, but I think just the way the jersey was laid out wasn't ideal. I think
that was like a solid blue all the way across. I think if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
I think this does a really nice job of.
Got a really nice accent going on.
The blue stands out.
It sure does.
Much better. Much better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the logo really sticks out well, and it meshes with the rest of the jersey. I thought whoever did this did a really great job.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Man.
So let's go to this Denver one that you have.
All right, so this one was they did jerseys for every NFL team.
Yes.
Some of them I thought were just god awful.
There are some bad ones in there. Yes.
Yeah, but the one they have here for Denver, I thought was really nice. It sort of takes the Terrell Davis idea, but blends it with the John Elway.
Yeah.
The young John Elway.
Yes. No, we know. Yeah. We're talking 87 John Elway.
Right. Yeah. Right. So they have that on the helmet, which is it's a white helmet with the orange D with the horse
Bronco.
shooting some snot out of its nose.
So great.
I could care less. It's one of the best logos ever.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but the jersey is sort of like the orange from the Terrell Davis era. So it's not the light orange that the Elway Broncos had, but the sort of darker orange, and with the dark blue kind of accents on the side, and then his undershirt where you can see the sleeves, that's dark blue, and with the white pants, I thought it looked really nice.
I absolutely agree. But to my point, let's show the Detroit Lions one is the other one you liked, right?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions one, and maybe it's just because it doesn't stray very much from kind of the usual.
Yeah.
The helmet doesn't look all that much different.
Actually, there is a huge difference in the helmet, guys. The lion is the other way. It doesn't face front.
I don't hate
around on the back. So it's I
don't hate that at all.
It's leaping towards the right as opposed to leaping forward. It's leaping backward.
Right. And the Lions jersey with the blue, it's almost like a shiny blue.
Yeah,
silver.
Yeah.
With silver under the arms and down the sides of the torso.
Yeah.
I think that really helps accentuate the blue.
You also have the white number with the black outline, which really pops the number. I love that. Yeah. I think that's such a different look to it and really just makes that stand out, because I think we've talked about it just before, where it's like if you have black on black, you can't see anything. This makes it pop right off. You see number. Okay.
Where I think people get in trouble, and we saw this a lot with these concept jerseys we're looking at.
Yeah.
Where people get in trouble is, one, you go off the team's history for color base.
Yes.
Two, you try to do too much, whether it's too many stripes, you're fading colors in and out, too many stars,
too many anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You go with a weird font for the numbers.
It doesn't fit.
That a ton. Yeah.
That's where I think people get in trouble when they design these concept jerseys. I think these last couple that we've showed, I think are in keeping with traditions of the team. Do still have kind of a futuristic look, but without going kind of overboard.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like if that Eagles jersey, just to get on to the next thing, but if that Eagles jersey didn't have that helmet and was just like the traditional whatever helmet that they wore in the 80s, that Kelly green, if you just threw that on that jersey, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye.
Yeah, I think you have to get rid of the wings on the shoulder blades. But yeah.
Oh yeah, but that we just determined that. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need wings. Like they're not like extra eagles.
No, yeah,
They have
exactly.
the wings in their
They're not
helmet.
going to fly away for crying out loud. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that, Johnny. That was great.
And just
There
for the
was- there was-
synopsis of that Flyers jersey, don't do that.
Right.
Exactly.
Steve will literally put your name down and put a hit out on you.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we were looking
again.
at something that was NFL, and we came
Yeah.
across the Giants,
Mhm.
right? The New York Giants, and we thought the Giants have a pretty classic look.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the thing they screwed up was they had this weird number.
The
font.
numbers were thin. We
Yeah,
loved
it curvy.
we loved the jersey. We loved the helmet. We loved everything about it. All three of us were like, why are there numbers like that?
Yeah.
Because the Giants are known for fat numbers.
Yeah.
Big blocky numbers.
Big blocky
Yeah.
numbers. Like
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they haven't gone back to that in a long time. But yeah, you're right. You guys are right on the money there. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, as we head towards the end of this episode, I guess we'd be remiss without talking about Tom Brady retiring.
Hello, Tom.
Now. But good riddance to bad rubbish. No, I'm kidding. One of the all-time greats.
Dude could play football.
GOAT of quarterbacks. I will always die on the Montana Hill, just so you guys know. I've always loved Joe Montana. He never threw an interception in a Super Bowl. But Tom Brady left an incredible mark.
Absolutely.
SI had a screenshot of his combined regular season and playoff records versus all 32 teams.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is utterly hilarious. I'm throwing it up here on screen for our video watchers here. But guys in pre-production, he was 7-2 against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys name me who those two losses were? This is regular season and playoffs.
Steve knows them.
One of them's duh.
Only
Anniversary.
the greatest game,
Yeah.
which, by the way, hey, February 4th, that's going to be the greatest day of our lives for the rest of our lives, right?
We're gonna call that Saint Nick's Day.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And loss number 2?
Loss number 2 was a regular season game during the Chip Kelly era. I think it was his final season, actually,
In
I think
Foxborough.
you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
2015,
In Foxborough. Yeah,
in Foxborough. But
the old Foxborough.
it was a total team effort because I believe there were like defensive and special team scores in there.
Malcolm Jenkins, I remember a defensive touchdown, but it was over 100 yards, I think it was, or I think it was a 100-yard interception return. Yeah, it was just like,
It does.
what the heck? Yeah, so the rest of the wins, whatever. He was 33-3 against the Bills. He was 10-0 against the Falcons, 6-0 against the Cowboys. Cowboys never beat him.
Nice.
Love
He
it.
just needs to live on that one.
Yeah. He was 6-3 against the Giants, 31-8 against,
Yeah, two of those were in the-
Two of them being the Super Bowls, right?
24-12 against the Dolphins. Dolphins gave him the most difficulty in the division. 16-4
That's
against the
interesting
Colts.
because the Dolphins were not very good
No.
for most of his
throughout his
They
22-year career.
could never win in Miami. They could never win down there. That was like, I don't know what to equate that really with us.
They're almost like the Tampa. Like Tampa never beat Philly in Philly under 40 degrees. That's what
Yeah.
it seems.
Yeah,
They never they had a struggle with Miami when they traveled to Miami.
there were 4 teams in the National Football League that played Brady and were 500. He never had a losing record against any team, but 4 teams
That's impressive.
were at 500. Yeah. Now, 2 of them were in the NFC West. I'll give you that hint. Who do you think they were?
Yes.
That it would have to be teams he didn't play
Play that often. Yeah.
Play all that much, right?
Raiders?
West.
Raiders, no.
Okay.
Raiders, he was 6-1 against Oakland.
Okay. Oakland, Vegas.
So NFC West, I should say.
NFC West. Okay, the Niners.
He was 2-1 against the San Francisco 49ers.
Rams.
It's been 3 times, really.
Yeah.
Rams, he was 5-4.
Okay.
The Cardinals then.
Cardinals, he was 1-1 against.
Interesting. Okay.
2 games against the Cardinals, and they beat him once, and he beat them once. So
How
1-1.
the hell did they get so lucky? They only had to play him twice in, what, 20 years? Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
22 years.
22
Yeah,
years. They played them twice.
that must have been like end of the game, end of the season, and he's resting for the playoffs, or he's
He
hurt.
probably
Maybe
wasn't
1
even
year.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was like one of the years he missed with a knee
So
injury.
who's the other team?
The other team was Seattle, 2-2 lifetime. The other team was Seattle.
Yeah, but he beat him in the Super Bowl.
I could see you not playing them that often, and they sucked for a really long time, and then they were good for a really long time. So
There were also 2 other teams. One was in the AFC West.
AFC West, the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, he was 8-5 against.
That's a good record.
We said the Raiders, but there were the Broncos. The Broncos were 9-9 against Brady.
Wow.
And then the NFC
That's actually
South.
really surprising.
Yeah.
That's
Well, think about it. Like towards the end, he's playing Peyton Manning in Denver. Towards the end of Peyton Manning's career, and they
but
met in
before and
the
after.
in the regular season all the time. And then
caught that up.
yeah, exactly. The last team, NFC South, the Saints.
I picked them.
The Saints were 5-5 against Brady.
I could see Drew Brees, manning up to that. I totally see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and of course, like playing the division the last few years. So yeah, but the course of his career. So
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. Oh, they swept the Bucks this year, didn't they?
yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
I think they did. Yeah.
And
So yeah,
they
that
took them out, right?
that is only just a microcosm of the greatness of this guy. I guess, John, what are your quick thoughts on Brady before we get to
My only thoughts is the one thing that I saw a bunch of stats of like what he's done in 22 years. The one thing I just want to just put in perspective is Mac Jones was 1 year old when he was drafted. The quarterback of the Patriots. Like, that's literally like, could you imagine Mac Jones taking over that job and like the guy that was in his position beforehand? You know what I mean? Like looking back at that, like shit, man, I watched him literally from one to now. Like he transcended so many things. He's seen so many cornerbacks. He's seen so many linebackers. He's seen so many defenses. He's seen the uptick and the downtick of the NFL in so many ways. Like, I hope he writes a book about the NFL.
Oh, I hope it's a tell-all book.
I'd be interested in seeing, like, what he's taken from that.
Yeah.
Because he was, of course, he's an all-time great. He played for 22 years.
Yeah.
There's not many people that, and if hockey, we've done this, but like Ray Bork and, guys, that played, Gordie Howe played for 90 decades. Like, these guys are good. Like, you've played for so long and seen so much. That's just kudos.
Well, and it's and such a high level too. I think that's probably the one thing that I won't soon forget. It wasn't like his skills were declining. You saw that with you saw it with Montana. You saw it with Unitas. You saw it with Marino.
Oh, with everybody.
This guy just keeps going. Steve, your thoughts on this gentleman here, Brady? Any profundities here?
Much to say. I mean, he was, like you said, he's one of the best, and I'm glad to not have to deal with him anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
What I will say is, I think we answered the question: who was more responsible for New England's dynasty? I think Brady answered that question last year when he.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Just the way he could pick apart a defense is astounding.
Yeah.
And still to do it at his age, because you're right. I watched Montana on the Chiefs, and
it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
Was not like that. Yeah.
It's, we can't all be the ageless wonder Yarmer Yager.
Tom is making a case.
Yeah. Speaking of him, he was on TNT, NHL on TNT this week.
Oh, there you go.
They
Nice.
asked him, would you still be playing in the NHL? And he said, the game has changed so much. Since I played, it's all about speed now, and I never liked skating fast. he misses the physical play because he could but
Outbody everybody, yeah.
yeah, but Tom Brady, he's one of the best, and probably the best.
Yeah.
Say much about it other than we beat him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, prevented a three-peat.
We will always love you for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it should have been twice, but
Absolutely.
It wasn't.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. We were at the end of the episode 70 of Two Noobs Talking. I can't believe we've hit 70 episodes. That is crazy. But as always, it's a treat to be able to spend some time with you guys and talk.
Nathan Peters
a lot of different
episode
things.
coming up next.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. On to 71. But Johnny, before we do that, where can people find us, pal?
Well, on socials, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, maybe Clapper at some point, but if I can find a password. Trying to throw out short videos to our...
that's our main YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, get notified whenever our new episodes drop. We would really appreciate that. And of course, on our audio side, Steve.
We is proudly hosted by Podbean, who puts our grubby little fingers in many different pies, such as Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, probably a bunch of other ones that I haven't checked out because I'm just too lazy to do so.
Well, I'm sure there's probably some buttons that I still have to press in order to get us out to more platforms.
Yes,
I'll look into that, John.
You can find us just on Google, too. Just Googleable. Just Two News Podcast. We're Googleable.
I still can't get over that. That's just crazy.
Either spelling will get you.
Yeah, it still works. It still gets us there.
There you go. What we need to be on is DuckDuckGo. That would be awesome. We could get on DuckDuckGo.
Well, you can search for us on DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, if you want to use DuckDuckGo.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I use DuckDuckGo. It's weird, but okay.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again, and until next time.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be truly informed.